So, what would you guys do if you found out you could spend $1.6 million and it's not your money and nobody really kind of knows that you're even doing this by using an ATM exploit?
What? And it's perfectly legal?
They can get you
No.
way later on that shit, though.
What the fuck are you talking about?
But if it's, I'll get away with it and then I get caught when I'm 80-something years old, I'm down.
Yeah? What would you do, though, with the money? 1.6.
First off, I'm gonna go to fucking Texas Roadhouse, cause you know,
It's so good.
their fucking bread, bro,
They're good. It's good.
and it's unlimited.
What kind of bread do they have?
Texas toast.
No, the dinner roll one, the one that they bring out. Oh, it's like buttery and you just sit there and you just break the bread and you go, I'll just have this, and then the basket's completely done. Wow. And then the waiter comes back, would you like another one? I'm like, I really shouldn't, but yeah, I'll get another one, it's free, And then you go, it's gone. And you're like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? And they're like, sorry, the food's so late, don't worry, just bring another fucking basket of bread out, we'll be okay. And by the time the food comes out, you're not even hungry no more. So you actually get 2 meals.
Fire. Take it home, pack it.
Sounded like a
good
Thatch Nguyen tutorial.
Okay, first you want to get the fucking deal, right?
And then you get 2 meals.
Or you take the whole thing, you put it into Anchor Protocol, and then even if you get caught, you just give the 1.2 million back, but everything else you earn, you keep.
You're $300 a day.
I'd put it in Alice, actually. yeah, I'd put it in Alice, boys. How about that?
Yeah, with what, $7? $7.50?
Yeah, do you get off the hook where you're like, okay, I'll turn the money back? Do you get off the hook? When you steal it and you go, okay,
That's what
I'll
I'm
give
saying.
it
If you
back.
get caught, you got to give it back anyway. But then at least you're able to earn.
You give it back.
That's true. If you give
Good
it back,
idea.
you're good.
10x that shit.
You're like a safe thief.
So there's a
I just spend it on dinner.
There's a bartender in Australia. He found out, like, it was late one night. He's taking $200 out of an ATM, and he's like, "Okay, give me $200." And it's like, error. And he's like, "Okay, well, I'll transfer from my savings to my checking," and then he was able to pull out $200, no problem.
Oh, the fucking machine fucked up.
So then he tried it again, because he was like, wait a minute. Work, and then it worked. And he's like, okay, I guess it worked. So then he said, it was like a magic trick. And the next day he woke up and he thought, wait, did I kind of just double my money last night and it didn't really take out of my balance? And then he checked it. He calls and he checks, and there was nothing that was taken out of his account.
So he kept doing it.
Well, so he realized that at this certain time of night, there was a moment in between when the ATM knows what
It's
your
like when the
bank balance
guards are
is.
changing shifts
Yes,
or some shit.
Exactly. So he starts to just pull fucking cash out of this machine at that
I didn't
time.
know it was the time and not anything else.
I don't know, he's a smart drunk dude.
Dude.
Smartest drunk dude I've ever heard about.
Pretty sweet.
How did he know at what time it
So if he did this between 1 and 3 in the morning, he realized he could create the money out of thin air, and it would actually deposit. So
he's like a stimulus check.
So yeah, but he didn't have to withdraw it. So he would just go checking, he would go savings to checking, and it would just balance that amount into his checking, and then his savings stayed the same. So he's like, are you fucking kidding me? So he moved over $1 million.
Over the span of
And the best part is, when he went to the bank, or he called in his balance, so he did both. He's like, hey, what's my balance? Like, $1 million. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? so then he's just like, okay, well, let's start to have the fucking time of our lives. So he pays off. He has a lot of friends who are in college. He's paying off their tuition fees.
Wow,
and
that's
shit.
what he did. That's dope.
He's buying bar tabs. He's already a bartender.
Holy shit.
But then he's like, hey, it's not on me. All that kind of shit, right? The wow. To do. Then he's like taking money. He's like buying trips. He's like paying for things. Nothing really too crazy, but definitely like enough to raise eyebrows if you knew him and you weren't asking questions. So
We're like, how are you?
It's like what they did in Goodfellas, where he's like, I told you not to buy the fucking car, you idiot.
yes, yes.
They always
then
want to show
his
off.
friends get jealous, so then his friends rat him out.
No, not those friends.
Dude, this guy did such a good job with this exploit that nobody even fucking knew for years.
Until he started vlogging. Damn, imagine getting away for
He
years.
starts to get a guilty conscience about it.
Oh no.
And he turns himself in?
Kinda. So by the time that like years went by, right?
He talks about it. Yeah.
He goes to the bank and he's like, "Hey, I want to have a conversation about like my ATM stuff." And then they're like, "We can no longer talk about this because it's a police investigation." So then he's already like, "Okay, I've already been thinking about this. I'm so fucked. What the fuck am I gonna do?" But the best part is, when he went to trial with this, like even later than that, he had to wait like 3 years to go to trial.
So he kept using the money while he was scared.
No, he stopped eventually. Like after like a year, he stopped, and then he wanted to do the right thing, so he saw like a psychologist, and like the first psychologist he saw was like, "Yo, we shouldn't be talking about this." The next one he talked to, they were able to discuss this stuff with him a little more openly, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna turn myself in."
He went to the same one the fucking the mob boss went to, on the fucking Sopranos. But she died, I think.
Well, I think Analyze This came out before that.
Oh, really? Okay, so he went to that one.
Yeah. But still really good. But no, so he goes there, and then they're like, "Yeah, you should turn yourself in." So then by the time he tells them, he's already under investigation. They can't talk about it. He waits to get popped, so he's like dreaming about every night. He's having dreams about the SWAT coming. He hears weird noises. He thinks they're coming for him. It's just fucking with him.
Goes to the whole Kim.com.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then one day he finds himself in court at last, but the prosecutor barely knows what the fuck he did. They can't really figure out how he did this.
Wow.
It's just that his bank account precipitously gained money over a very short.
They can't prove that it's him.
Because they have the burden of proof.
Well, that's right. So they don't. It's not that they don't know that he did it because he.
He's like, "I'm ready to tell you guys."
And he was spending it. He was taking it out. So like obviously he was like somewhat involved. Duh, right? But they just didn't understand it well enough to really prosecute him. So the guy got a year. He didn't have to pay any penalties. He spent like $1.5 million. He had the time of his fucking life.
You don't have to pay it back either?
No, not that I can
He
tell.
must be the most luckiest guy on earth, but I don't know how much, if those 3 years of stress was worth it though.
3 years of stress and 1 year of what? Probation or
He
prison?
went to jail for a year.
What a good conscience, though.
Yeah.
I mean, most people do,
How the heck?
Not me. I'll skip the country.
but not for 1.6.
Well, he says he thought about it. He's like, "I'll go to Mallorca, which is Greece," and he's like, "I'll get the fuck out."
Those are normal thoughts though, but for him to take that money and then to like pay off his friend's college tuition,
that's a good person.
Good shit. Like,
and then still be like, I need to go see a psychologist because I'm like, you know what I mean? That's, he's like a regular good dude.
He said that when he was a millionaire, people just treated him different. Like he would go to the bank and like initially the teller didn't give a fuck, and then they'd open his account and be like, "Oh hey, like what's up? Like hey." Like it was like it was just changed the way that people looked at him, the way they treated him. He's like, when I went places and you guys know how this shit is, right?
Yeah, because I walk in like this and they're like, "Ugh," and then they see the account, they go, "Ooh, how can I help you, sir?"
remember how you guys used to treat me before you looked up my net worth?
Yeah, $18 million. We're like,
Fucking
hold
miss
on a
those
second.
days.
And I apologize for how I used to treat you.
Yeah. So, hey, me too.
I just wish you would pay off our tuition.
You're done. You're good.
I did UCB, dude. I got bills up the ass.
You gotta pay UCB's tuition
I'm still
now.
paying that shit.
Does it mention his age by any chance?
Must be college,
Because like
right?
if that was happening and I was in my early 20s, that's different from if I was in my early 30s.
I would have felt more guilty then because I was more Christian and I understood less about government.
He was 29.
Ooh,
Because
that's,
now it feels like, fuck these guys, dude. They print money all day.
Yeah.
You know how many lives they crushed?
Hey,
And then that's how I justify stealing.
yeah.
That's a good way.
I guess it depends on what you're doing with the money. It's,
Robin Hooding it.
yeah.
Well, now he's back to making $22 an hour because he served his time.
I'm gonna make Mr. Beast videos with it.
Is that not similar to what Biden's about to do when he erases that much debt from everybody? Just randomly, 10K per.
that ain't gonna happen.
Bro, and he's barely going to do it either.
I think he'll do a little bit if he's gonna give us freaking random
Isn't it
money.
convenient that it's happening right before election?
No, that's unrelated. They couldn't.
He had a couple of years to do it, but like,
No, it took forever.
The combined household has to be like $75K for you to get $10K off your student debt.
But $10K off is fucking nothing to these people.
10K off of your $250,000 debt being an engineer.
Wall Street's fucked. They just print it and then they hand it to them.
Print $1 billion.
They can't print it and hand it to the people though. They'll never do it. That's what I was saying during COVID. I was like, they could hand everybody 20 G's, and people are like, "Steve, it's so stupid. This is just a stupid idea." And I'm like, that's actually like that would be nice for people, but whatever. It is what it is.